Military personnel sacrifice a lot to protect their loved ones, their time, physical well-being, and sometimes even their lives. Touching moments of soldiers coming home that'll warm your heart and have you crying tears of joy. So get that box of tissues into position, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell, because we're getting started. For this woman, airports will now be associated not only with vacations, but also with the most important surprise of her life. It hasn't even been 30 minutes since Sergeant Christopher Williams returned from a 7-month deployment in Afghanistan, and you don't need to be a fortune teller to know who he's rushing to see first. This military woman was granted just 1 day of leave from her service, but for her family, that's 86,000 precious seconds they get to spend together. Today was the last time that this woman's mother had to dream of seeing her daughter again, because now she's home in real life. It's hard to imagine what it must be like to wait for your child to come back from the army, but even harder to imagine what it's like for the child to spend a whole year away from their mom. For a grandmother, there's no greater joy in life than a hug from her grandson, especially when she hasn't been able to get one in so long. This family was prepared to spend yet another Christmas without their mother, but apparently this time Santa finally received a letter from this little girl. This woman's friends had been telling her that the fair would be truly unforgettable this year, but she had no idea how literal they were being. This is the sound of a mother and daughter being reunited after 2 long years apart. This young man hasn't seen his grandma in over a year, so he knew a surprise visit would be a shock, but he decided to make the event even more memorable. These are the only times when kids are allowed to make their parents cry. Some moments simply can't be captured in words, so just watch this military father meeting his newborn son for the first time. Imagine the shock it must take to cause a mother to lose control of her emotions and more upon suddenly being reunited with her military daughter. This girl is always pretty happy when she goes to the playground, but she wasn't expecting to be this happy. Positive emotions can be just as shocking as negative ones, and here's proof. Look at this girl's emotional reaction to her boyfriend's unexpected return after 7 months of service. This young soldier has just returned from her deployment and went straight off the plane to surprise her best friend at work. Military service has kept this girl from her beloved sister for many months, but today is the long-awaited day that they'll get to see each other again. I don't think she's ever letting her out of her sight again. Soldiers greeting their wives and girlfriends, but I bet you've never seen a mother-in-law's reaction to her son-in-law coming home from service. If you think coming home to your parents after a 28-month deployment in Japan couldn't get any more surprising, just wait till you see their reaction to a knock on the door at 2 a.m. If none of the previous reunion videos have quite moved you yet, then take a look at this Navy dad surprising his 4 kids after many months apart. This soldier told his family that he would be arriving the next day so that he could surprise them a day early. Today is the second time this girl has had to celebrate her birthday without her mother, but now it's time for her wish to finally come true. long do you need to be away from your military sister to sprint to hug the second you see each other? The time doesn't really matter when it comes to being reunited. This groom promised himself that he wouldn't get too sentimental on his wedding day, but little did he know that crying would be unavoidable. Despite missing her son's graduation, this military mom did everything in her power to make sure that their long-awaited embrace still happened. The final moments of waiting always feel the longest, but they're totally worth it. Don't worry, Dad got his share of hugs too, just off camera. A single glance from her mother was all it took for the daughter to realize that from now on, they would always be together. This whole family can't hold back their emotions when their military girl surprises them by showing up at a family dinner one evening. Like a scene out of a movie, this touching reunion between a girl and her father after a year of service is enough to melt any heart. Can you imagine how a boy must feel seeing his mother for the first time in 365 days? Just like this. This girl sees something that could not possibly be real. Her sister home after a year of military service. It's impossible to know exactly how a mother who hasn't seen her son in 34 months must feel. But her powerful reaction gives you an idea. With his football game now behind him, young Joshua thought that all the big emotions of the day were over. But that's before he found out his brother had come home from the military to congratulate him. For a soldier returning from duty, surprising his wife like this might just be the best welcome home gift he can give her. Steffi couldn't figure out why her mom was filming her until she opened the door to find her older sister who had kept her promise to come home for Christmas. This woman was told there was a special surprise waiting for her inside, but she wasn't expecting it to be her husband. She won't be letting him out of her embrace anytime soon. Not only kids and parents were waiting for this soldier to come back, but the one who sees him as its whole world. After 15 long months overseas without seeing his daughters, this Air Force dad is finally coming home today. This is what true love looks like. This woman couldn't wait another day for her husband's service to end, so she surprised him herself. And by the look in his eyes, she absolutely nailed it. This man's mom had given up hope of seeing her son for Christmas, but it looks like it's time for her to start believing in miracles. This soldier had to miss his daughter's birth due to his deployment, but thankfully, they now have the rest of their lives to spend together. This darling little girl has grown so much since her dad was last home, but now he's back and ready to be part of her life like never before. After serving abroad, all this man wants to do is be with his love and show her just how much he's missed her. She's done her duty to her country, and now there's just one mission left: make it to her little brother's graduation. This family sent a message saying how much they missed their soldier, never expecting they'd get to hug him so soon. This woman has waited every single day, not knowing if her partner would ever return, for this exact moment. These grads knew today was an important day, but they had no idea it would be unforgettable for reasons beyond just receiving their diplomas. 3 years ago, these children's father followed his dream to join the military and set an example for them. I'm so glad it worked out. For a year, Harley has been counting down the days until she would get to hug her little sister again, so she wasn't about to wait for the school day to end. This soldier only had a couple of days of leave, so he didn't think twice about surprising his mother at the airport where she worked. This Navy mom coming home to her child after 8 months away is a perfect example of how precious these reunions can be. This woman was ready for a nice evening, but it turned out to be more amazing than she could have ever dreamed. Check out how this woman reacts to seeing her boyfriend come home after 11 months. She can't believe it's real. These people didn't understand why everyone was obsessed with the trunk of the car until they saw what was inside and were beside themselves with joy. Here's another lucky girl who's getting the best graduation gift ever. This couple was 2,000 miles apart for 6 months, but now they're making sure they're not separated by even a single millimeter. Waiting 9 months for a daughter to come back from the army feels like forever for any mom, but it's all worth it for moments like these. Imagine expecting a normal morning coffee with your neighbor and instead finding your son who you haven't seen in 2.5 years. Best Christmas surprise ever. For 365 days, these girls planned what they would say to their father when they saw him again. But once he was right in front of them, all words went out the window, leaving nothing but pure emotion. It's safe to say that the mom of this military man wasn't expecting the gift of seeing her son by the Christmas tree. The moment she saw the car, she knew the long nights away from her father were finally over. This graduate couldn't believe her eyes. Her dad had arrived on one day of leave to make her celebration unforgettable. This girlfriend hadn't seen her boyfriend in so long that she could hardly believe it was him at first. No words needed here. The way this toddler lights up upon seeing her daddy says it all. For a 4-year-old, 7 months is a terribly long time to be away from dad, who did everything he could to get back to his little girl ASAP. Here's what you get when you surprise your family for Christmas after spending 4 years in South Korea. This military husband's return was a shocker not just for his wife, but also for their eager dog, who waits his turn for a hug. As soon as this young man stepped off the bus, he knew he had been missed without anyone saying a word. You've seen plenty of sons coming home to their mothers, but this one has a little twist you don't see very often. Serving in the army kept this dad from his 3 kids, who had been dreaming of his return every day, and today's the day. And these little babies finally have their daddy back after 6 long months. What a touching moment. This soldier's brother missed him so badly, and he has no idea what awaits him in a second. When this soldier left for the army, his sister made him promise to be there for her graduation. Real officers don't break promises. While one girl is focused on her schoolwork, her military mom sneaks up to surprise her from behind. And judging by her daughter's reaction, it worked. It's definitely the support from family and friends that makes moments like these so precious for those in the military. This boy had been dreaming of showing his dad what he learned in a year while he was away on duty. Now watch as he realizes his dad won't ever miss another game. The best friends of this military girl were sure they wouldn't see her anytime soon. Just look at their reaction when they realized how wrong they were. This girl has no idea that after months of service, her Marine sister will be picking her up from school today. The emotions here are enough to melt any heart. Meet Connor Joan Vollmer, who rushed home after his service to share the first dance with his younger sister at her prom. I never thought I'd say this, but I hope this girl doesn't have a date for the prom, because now she gets to dance with her loving brother. Before receiving her wedding gift, this woman was told to close her eyes. Looks like it's exactly what she's always wanted. Her brother is home again. On his wedding day, this groom was expecting to see many different people, but not his brother, who was currently serving in the military. He should have known his bro would never miss this moment. After a long time apart, the feelings that come with a sweet reunion can often be overwhelming to the point that no one can speak. But that's okay. The message of love is still received. This military son knows how to make a dramatic return from service. Imagine the most important person in your life just walking into the kitchen after not seeing them for 14 months. It took only a second for an Air Force soldier named Brianna to turn back into a little girl at the sight of her father. Many people say long-distance relationships are hard, but if your feelings are strong enough, you can wait for your military boyfriend's embrace at long last. After everything we've seen today, being apart for 3 months doesn't seem all that bad, but not for these lovers who can't imagine a day without each other. This female soldier decides to surprise her friend, whom she hasn't seen in years, in spectacular fashion by catching her off guard at work. Waiting 210 days for your father to come home from the army feels like an eternity for kids. Well, that eternity has finally come to an end. This might just become your new favorite homecoming video of all time. Watch as this soldier meets his daughter for the first time. This girl is about to receive the greatest gift after many months away from her military dad. I'm not talking about the video. This man trained for years in the Special Forces so he could pull off the most important mission, surprising his mom in the middle of a school lesson. This woman's job is to heal people, but today her son came to heal her heart by returning to her alive and well. When the Faley family saw a message from their father, First Sergeant Scott Faley, on the stadium's video board, they were speechless. But they didn't know that an even bigger surprise was yet to come. This Marine's grandma has no idea about the surprise her grandson is prepared for her. And sure, she's shocked, but oh so happy. We don't know how long this soldier was away from his sister, but her love for him only grew stronger, and this video is proof. Well, I hope today's touching stories have inspired you. Be sure to tell us in the comments which one made you cry like a baby. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.